Let's talk to Miller. Him from Michigan wants to talk about the dark path that religion can often get to. Miller, would you like to kind of tell us a bit more about this?
Sure. By the way, thank you for having me on.
Thank you. We're here for you.
Yeah. What's up?
Just thinking out loud. I was listening to your show on YouTube, and your number was there, so I decided to call in. I used to be part of a church, and now I'm not. But I was thinking that it's weird how our minds work as humans, that we're trying to find answers here and there, and we kind of go everywhere. And in the end, where do you know where the best answer is?
That's always a good question. It sounds like you have some. Do you have some other thoughts about this? Like, have you thought about this deeply on your own?
I have. Things that are told to you that, in general, they're good advice that come from religious backgrounds or churches and things like that. But really, in the end, it doesn't have to come from there. But it's talked about in the church, and you try to follow certain rules, you try to do certain things, be the right person. And then when it comes down to it, it doesn't matter. You are who you are.
It doesn't matter to whom.
Yeah.
I guess to yourself.
Well, how I act certainly matters to me.
It does, but like how I act matters to me as well, but it doesn't matter to the people around you as much. And
really?
Religions, basically what I'm getting at is, for example, you should be married in the church. Is that true or false? Who knows? But is it better? Yes, it is. But is it an absolute? It's not an absolute. And you learn that there's no absolutes. And it's tricky. It messes with your mind through life.
Yeah, they're definitely, I can see where it gets confusing with rules of religion and what rules are set because they make you a better person and what rules are set just because this is tradition and this is what we do in our community. And this is something, marriage is a great example of where this is problematic because people will take marriage and think that it is a moral thing. Like this is the covenant between a husband, a wife, and God, and only straight people can get married in the church. And they end up using that as some kind of, like, they take ownership over the institution of marriage. And so it's definitely something where even in my past, I thought that getting married was virtuous. And coming out of religion, marriage is a great thing for a lot of people, but does it need to be so connected to religion? Does it say anything about you as a person? No, not really. It's a great thing for those people who want it. But yeah, that line between what is tradition and what is moral value is definitely blurred in a lot of religious cases.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, Miller, about the notes in the from the call screener say religion seems to give answers, but overall leads down a dark path. Are you saying that religion inevitably leads to some dark place, or are you saying that? Because if you are saying that, if you're making the stronger form of this statement, I would disagree with you. As a matter of fact, I don't think principally, I don't think in its nature, religion is going to lead you down to the wrong place. The reason that I have trouble with religion, and maybe you agree with me on this, is that if you base your decision making on irrational beliefs, of which every every circumstance of religion that I've seen, at least, I would say that that's irrational. I'd be happy to address that deeper at a particular case if anybody else would like to discuss that. I would say that it happened. It gives you the risk of leading down to a dark place, but it doesn't necessarily guarantee that. For example, I could design a religion that is super awesome and that is really good for the world and that makes people happy and productive and helps us to love each other and get along with each other and so forth. Now, that wouldn't necessarily mean that it's a good thing to believe that, even though it had good outcomes. Because I would be also, in addition to preaching my religion, I would have to accompany that with the assumption that it's okay to believe irrational things, which to me, that's the crook that gets me. That's the hook that pulls me back in, is that if you're implying that it's good to have irrational beliefs, then I disagree with you. Is that what you're saying? Or were you saying more that religion by its very nature will lead us to someplace dark?
Let's see. You said, can it lead you to have irrational beliefs? And
well, what I'm asking is, I said, so I just made a distinction between the statement that religion leads you to someplace dark versus, I don't know, maybe softening it a little bit and saying that if you do have religious beliefs, or I would rather phrase that as if you have irrational beliefs, then you would run the risk of ending up at a dark place, and you're more likely to end up at a dark place. Do you see the distinction there?
Yeah.
And so what's your take on that? What's your position? What are you trying to say here?
The irrational beliefs that can lead you to a dark place. That's well stated. For example, you should be married before having children.
Mm-hmm.
Is that rational or irrational? It can, in today's world, it's not that irrational, but 100 years ago, that was rational. How do things switch between rational and irrational so it gets molded into society to where
we're just talking about cultural norms at that point. We're talking about cultural norms, which I don't know if we need to really get too far into rational versus irrational as far as cultural norms. We can have talks about, like, does this need to be enforced? Like, is this a principle for moral good, or is this just something that is specific to that culture and that place and time? Like, there are plenty of religious things that could be irrational, but really don't have much significance other than, like, if somebody goes to the temple to go have some quiet time alone, and that's seen as a positive thing in that religion. But if somebody's not, having the beliefs related to that, but still think, it's a great thing for me to go meditate at this temple, I don't know if I care so much about whether or not that particular aspect is rational or irrational. They're not making any claims that you're better than other people if you do that. So I think it's dependent on how you use that, how you enforce those social norms. Because, a great example of this is gender, how gender is presented in society. Because if you think about sociologically, gender is a performance. And even though you have your own internal sense of gender identity, if you go outside of your own culture to another one, you'll still oftentimes pick the expressions and the norms that relate to your identity, even though they're completely different things. Like, there are cultures that will have men who wear skirts and men who wear dresses, men who wear makeup. And that's, if you're a man in a society that doesn't use those things, going to that culture, you might adopt that stuff because it's seen as masculine, and that is how you're performing your gender. Do I think that gender as a concept is irrational? No. Does it have a whole lot of moral significance? Like, is there morality to being a man versus being a woman? No, absolutely not. It's something that I think can be a bit more abstract, and that's okay, and not necessarily have a certain set of moral value. It's just it's how you're enforcing these things within that society that is where we need to care about it more. Does any of that make sense?
It does make sense, yes. I'll be more specific in my question. There's somebody I'm interested in. I don't believe in having children before marriage. In other words, basically, don't have kids before you get married. I used to be part of a church. I'm not anymore, but I still hold on to that belief, even though it was ingrained in me through the church that, you know, you do things in a very conservative way, and that's with me, but I'm no longer part of the church. And I get in this, it's happened several times, and it's irritating to me that I don't think you should have kids before marriage. And if I'm being put down for that, it's like, what the hell?
Do you think that it's okay to have that viewpoint for yourself, but maybe not think that other people need to have that same idea? Like, are you going into public spaces or are you engaging with people and telling them that they have to agree with you on this?
I don't tell people they have to agree with me. It's what I'm looking for in a partner. And I get put down for it because I'm not interested in somebody because of that.
Do you get put down by your potential partners? Is that who we're talking about? Or is it like your friends or something?
Potential partners.
All right. Well, then that'll be a signal that they wouldn't make a very good partner for you. If they disagree with you, if they not only disagree with you, but mock you because you disagree, to me, that doesn't make a great partner.
I mean, and it's okay to have preferences in how you no one is required to have like intimate relations before marriage. You're not even required to do that in your marriage. Like, your boundaries with your own body are for you. And so it's okay to have those conversations early on, like when you're pursuing a potential partner and you say, hey, this is like my preference for when I want to do something with my body or when I don't. And it's totally allowed. Like, have conversations about those boundaries. And if that other partner, if that other person is not on the same page, or if they have different needs than you, then you part ways and you say, hey, I don't think this is going to work out. I don't think we're compatible. But it's totally okay to have different viewpoints on that. But I would say, instead of saying that this is like a moral issue of whether or not it's moral or not to have kids before marriage, I think keep that as a boundary for yourself, but then still respect other people that are going to think about it differently.
Yeah.
And I would just throw in too that if you find a partner, if you don't want to have kids until after you're born or until after you're married, obviously after you're born, but if you don't want to have kids until after you're married and you find a partner that is agreeable to that, whether they're religious or not, please take the initiative to participate in the birth control efforts of your partnership there. I mean, if especially in the cases where if you're the one who doesn't want to have children, then please make sure that you are, putting an effort in the birth control arena and not just leaving it up to your partner.
Yep.
Yeah. Especially if you believe in it, huh?
Yeah, you better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Better put your money where your mouth is, so to speak.
All right. Yeah. Does all that help? Or we've got other calls to get to, but does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. You guys are great.
Cool. All right. Thanks, Miller.
Thank you so much for your call. Have a great day.
Bye.